settle that? What was it about? What caused the breach with him?
That's such old history. Very easy to explain, but I don't want to waste your time by explaining it. But for years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that worked for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth. And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times.
So bring us up to date on this whole Epstein thing, because it is just, it is mind-bogglingly like, apparently AutoPen did it now. AutoPen added added him to the Epstein files. I mean, none of the timeline makes sense for who he's saying wrote the Epstein files or planted his his name in them or whatever. This whole party is acting as his defense team, right? Mike Johnson has resisted a bipartisan push to publish the Epstein files, claiming it would be reckless to release uncorroborated material. So Ro Khanna, Thomas Massey, they're promoting a discharge petition to force the House to vote on a resolution requiring that they hand over the Epstein files. They said the resolution would improperly disclose the identity of Epstein's victims. First of all, many of them are speaking out, right? So they're already. We played 3 of them this morning already, right?
Yeah. If we go back to the basics, whose Department of Justice criminally indicted Jeffrey Epstein in 2019? Donald Trump's Department of Justice, headed up by Bill Barr. Whose Department of Justice criminally indicted Ghislaine Maxwell in 2020? Donald Trump and Bill Barr's Department of Justice. So he's not even fooling the gullible when he says these cases were ginned up by Democrats. Sport, you and your dirty Attorney General, Bill Barr, the cover-up Attorney General, are the ones who indicted these cases. It all falls apart. And then on the other end of this debacle, he sends his own former criminal defense attorney, who, is the keeper of Donald Trump's incriminating secrets. That's the nature of the attorney-client relationship. And Todd Blanche was in an attorney-client relationship with Donald Trump for a very long time. Mm-hmm. So he is still the keeper of Donald Trump's dirty secrets, because the attorney-client privilege never ends, even if the representation ends. And this is the dude he sends to sit down with Ghislaine Maxwell for 9 hours and try to get her to say, what? Donald Trump never did anything wrong. Trust me. I
mean, Glenn, this it's all the same stuff we've talked about, but it's all out in the open now. The witness tampering, the pardon dangling, the possible obstruction of justice, and destruction of evidence. I mean, do you worry that he's having these files scrubbed or destroying evidence or doing what? And what do we do about that if so?
I do worry. I hope there were enough safeguards built in during the Biden years that these files would have been protected. There would be multiple copies. It'd be in the hands of honest, ethical DOJ folks who are still at the federal prosecutor's office in New York. That's the office that prosecuted Maxwell and tried to prosecute Epstein before he turned up dead in his cell. So I'm hoping there are enough copies of these files that there's no way Donald Trump and his dirty lawyers at DOJ can plant stuff in them or pull stuff out of them. But, it all remains to be seen, because this is like a day-by-day story. Right. We don't know what's going to happen next.
But there's like reportedly 1,000 FBI agents that combed this for Trump. I mean, I have to assume that he knows a lot more people than just Ghislaine Maxwell knows what's in the actual files, meaning him. Right?
Yeah, well, we saw the story break that, Pam Bondi is reported to have briefed Donald Trump that, hey, sport, your name's in the files. And Donald Trump told the reporter, she never told me that. I'm waiting for reporters to begin hounding Pam Bondi to see if she will continue lying for him or not. I suspect she probably will. But and then I also am looking forward to what Todd Blanche comes out of those 9 hours of meetings with and says, for example, she said Donald Trump did nothing wrong, but a whole bunch of Democrats did stuff wrong. My first question would be, well, then why didn't you release the files on day one of your administration if that was
Thank
the
you.
truth? Because it's not the truth.
Glenn, how do you answer that? He just made the charge again yesterday. If anything was in there, why didn't Biden release it? They would have released it by now. I mean, first of all, can you talk about the timeline of this? Weren't they sealed because things were ongoing? Obviously.
Yeah, well, there were. When we talk about sealed, that talks about things that are in court proper, whether part of a criminal case or part of civil cases brought by the victims. There are sealing orders that judges will issue so the public can't get a hold of sensitive, victim-related information, for example. But the stuff that's sitting, hundreds of thousands of pages of documents and videos and DVDs that are sitting in the possession of the Department of Justice, that's not sealed. Those represent the Epstein files. And now, did Joe Biden make promises? I'm going to release, I don't remember him on the campaign trail running on, I'm going to release the Epstein files the way Donald Trump and all of his, right-wing flunkies were yelling and screaming about. So it doesn't surprise me that Joe Biden wouldn't go in there and try to weaponize stuff that was in DOJ's possession against his political opponent, the way Donald Trump tries to weaponize stuff against his political opponent.
Well, CPAP machines are the worst, right? Who can sleep at night with that mask and hose strapped to your face? But without it, breathing is disrupted, and if you have a higher risk of dementia, stroke, heart disease, or premature death, the bottom line is if you snore now, you are at heightened risk of requiring a CPAP machine later. So now is the time to stop snoring. One of the smartest, fastest, easiest ways to stop snoring is Zipa. Zipa is the comfortable doctor-designed mouthpiece that can stop snoring as fast as the first night. Don't be fooled by imitators. Zipa was proven in a 600-patient clinical trial, and with over 500,000 units sold, Zipa is the stop snoring device that we trust. No more being nudged awake for snoring. No more sleeping in separate rooms. No more feeling tired and foggy all day due to lack of sleep. Look, this may be your last best chance to solve your snoring problem now, or face having to wear that CPAP mask later. Zipa, that's Happy Z spelled backward. I want you to try it with my special discount. Get 20% off and free shipping if you visit ZYPPAH.com. Use that promo code SNORE. Again, the promo code is SNORE at Zipa.com.